Grand Rising YouTube world, it's me Coco and I am back with another video. Before I get to the video, y'all know, gotta do my birthday announcement. Birthday countdown announcement. I have 20 days until the girl turns 27. I know. Like, right? But anyways, y'all, so why the other day I started doing the tarot readings, right? I did Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius. And when I got to Sagittarius, y'all, Sagittarius wiped me the fuck out. Like, I had to go to sleep after I did their videos. So I'm going to post their videos today, and I'm going to do, like, some more zodiac signs today. I probably do, like, the water signs today. But no, like, it was real crazy. After I did Sagittarius reading, I literally went to sleep. I couldn't even finish my food. That's how drained the fucking Sagittarius were, right? But anyways, yeah, today's video, I want to really talk about like how toxic the spiritual community is. Like, if you really think about it in total, a lot of people are toxic, even the ones who are awakening and shit. Because you know how, we all about growth, and if somebody can't grow with us, growth. If somebody can't grow with us, then we be pressed to be off with their heads, right? That is toxic. And the reason why that is toxic is because, like my last video, no one is truly like us. Okay? If and I watched this video that my mom sent me, right? And it was talk about how, you wanted your parents to love you, but you were like a 10-gallon person and they only had like the love of a quart or whatever, right? Which really spoke volumes because I'm a very expressive person. I'm a very loving person, and I have not, well, until I met my partner, I have not met one person who could match my love, right? My partner and my children, right? And you know, growing up, it used to bother me how my mother couldn't love me the way that I wanted to be loved, right? And even when I started my spiritual journey, I literally cut my mom off because I had to heal, right? And as I heal, I realized that at the end of the day, all she had was a quart to my 10 gallons. What is a quart to a 10 gallon? What is a quart to 1 gallon? How can I expect my mother to give me the love that I wanted and that I needed when she literally wasn't capable of it? And it's not saying that that's a bad thing, because that is absolutely not a bad thing at all. We have to understand that not everybody can match our energies. You know, no matter how high we grow or no matter how low we go, not everyone can match our energies, and that's okay. And we should not be punishing people for not being able to match our energies, right? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, allow people to disrespect you, allow people to hurt you, or anything like that. But what I'm saying is stop trying to cut people off because they literally do not have the ability to meet you where you are, right? Understand, I love my mother dearly. And like I said, and the reason why I'm using my mom as an example is because I feel like this is a great example because, the spiritual community is always talk about cutting somebody off, even your toxic family members, right? And let's be honest, we are all toxic, okay? You cannot tell me that you grew up in a toxic household and you are not toxic. No matter how much we outgrow our toxicity, we are still going to have some toxic traits. I know I do, because look, y'all, I punched a motherfucker hole in the wall when I got mad, okay? And y'all see me on here, preaching these spiritual truths or whatever, right? And I'm not speaking it, and then living a life of fraud. At the end of the day, I'm about my spiritual shit, but at the same time, I'm not forgetting where I came from. And I'm not going to run from where I came from, and I'm not going to ignore where I came from, right? And don't get me wrong, I'm not abusive. I don't just like put my hands on my partner or anything like that. I used to back in the day, but that's not me now. And the only reason why I did that is because they like that shit. They like that toxic, crazy shit. Anyways, right? You cannot tell me you grew up in a toxic background and you are not toxic yourself. You cannot sit up here and cut off any and everybody that you deem to be toxic When in our reality, they're not really toxic. One, they're just really, 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 really hurt and they're in a state of survival. Or two, they just cannot meet you where you are at that time, right? Or they probably just can't meet you, period. But that doesn't mean that you cut them off. Again, with my mom as an example, right? You know, like I said, I cut my mom off for a while I did my spiritual healing or whatever, right? And especially when I moved into my own apartment, I definitely cut her off and I did my shadow work and all that. And after I did my shadow work, I look at my mom in a whole new light. You know, me and my mother don't really argue because now I control the relationship versus her controlling the relationship, right? That's what happens when you learn and grow. You learn how you learn how to control certain situations and certain relationships, right? You know, I'm not going to just cut her off because she's not willing to learn, or you know, she always want to argue, or like, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, some people be wanting to cut their mothers off because their mothers simply look at them as their child. What is so toxic about that? What is so toxic about that? To me, that is probably one of the most endearing things ever. And the reason why I say that is because personally, my mother, she looks at me and my 24-year-old sister as her children. So you know what that means? When me and my sister need something, she won't give us what we need, right? I mean, yeah, she might fuss and argue, but that's just like where she came from. And I got to understand that at the end of the day, you know, we can't expect people to just give to us because we need something or because we want something. There's always a price to pay. Even if the price is getting lectured or even if the price is arguing. What's the difference between being lectured and being arguing? Either way, you don't want to hear the shit, right? Either way, it's taxing on your energy. Either way, it's draining your energy. Even if the lecture is some shit that you need to hear, even if the lecture is some positive shit, at the end of the day, you don't want to hear it. So it's draining. It's technically toxic, right? When it comes to, you know, people cutting friends off, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying allow people who do you dirty and stab you in the back to remain friends. But what I'm saying is, if you see a friend that is depressed and they need help, and you know, well, no, not even that they need help, you see a friend that's acting different, right? Not acting funny, but acting different, and because their vibes are off, you want to cut them off. No, do you even realize why they're acting different? No. Do you even realize, like, do you even know, like, do you really pay attention to your friends to know when something is up and why something is up? No, but you want to be pressed to cut them off. Just because I didn't call you today, I call you every day for a week, and I ain't call you today. Now all of a sudden I'm acting funny and you want to cut me off. Did you even call to check up on me? Did you even call to see if I had any rest? Did you call to see if I had any food? Did you call to see if my kids are getting the best of me? Like, no. But because I didn't cater to you at that time, I'm acting funny and I'm being different. No. No, that is toxic. Y'all are so out for self. Like, a lot of people be so out for self, and it's crazy. I mean, I get it that, you know, we are on a journey to self-discovery, but just because we're on a journey to self-discovery does not mean that we just cut people off all willy-nilly, right? Like, for example, I do have this one friend, right? The reason why I fuck with her is because she's real as fuck. She's honest as fuck, right? Like, she'll be like, yeah, I'm petty, like, this is the type of shit that I do, etc., right? And I'm not gonna lie. One time she tried to pull it on me, right? Did it bother me? No. Because I really don't give a fuck about certain shit. Like, that childish shit, I really don't really be giving a fuck, right? But she did it on me. And at the end of the day, I could not be mad at her. Why? Because she told me who the fuck she was from the very beginning, and I accepted that shit. And because I accepted it then, I continue to accept it. We went our separate ways for a minute because she had some healing to do on her own, but I never just up and cut her off, right? After some time went on, we decided to link back up, right? Has she done the same thing again? No, right? Why would I cut that off? Because she did something one time, right? Something that she was honest with me about. You get what I'm saying? Like, y'all want honesty, but somebody's honest, y'all don't want to accept their honesty, right? They're toxic, etc., which is okay, understandable, right? But then when somebody going through shit and nobody's transparent with y'all want to cut them off when things are different, right? Like, I really don't understand. Or even this other friend that I have, right? You know, I elevated quicker than a lot of people because my journey is different than a lot of people. And I will say that sometimes if I feel like you're not elevating in your own right, like you don't have to elevate in my right, but if you're not elevating in your own right, I will cut you off. Right? I just don't do stagnancy. It's not the toxicity for me, it's the stagnancy for me that I can't stand. But I have this one friend, right, who I truly love dearly and I fuck with her dearly, right? And I was like, yo, I hope she elevate because where she not even me seeing the potential, but like I'm a seer, right? And I know I have a clear sense of knowing, right? So it's like if only she can be where, you know, her future self is showing me that she can be, right? We could continue to kick it and like we will grow closer, right? And don't get me wrong, like I didn't push her or anything like that. Like we was kicking it, like everything was normal because I'm like, I'm not about to sit up here and force her to do something that she don't want to do. She has to show me that she want to do it, and if she want to do it, she's going to show me naturally, right? And she naturally showed me. So then I helped her elevate to the next point of her life, right? And I say that to say that because she couldn't meet me where I was at that time, the old me beginning spirituality would have cut her off, right? You get what I'm saying? Like people be wanting to cut people off for the wrong thing. Y'all need to stop cutting people off. This why the fuck we be lonely now. You know, again, I'm not saying take disrespect and take hate and take boundary crossing from people, but what I'm saying is learn when to pick and choose your battles, right? Just like I said, being a bigger person is overrated. Learn to pick and choose your battles. Learn who to really and truly choose to cut the fuck off. Because everybody that y'all want to cut the fuck off is not to be cut off. And I'm going to be honest, unpopular opinion, even toxic parents. Because at the end of the day, you have to realize the shit that they've been through, right? You got to realize the shit that they've been through. Because how would you feel if you did all this healing work, right? Then you do one or two fucked up things to your children, and they be like, oh yeah, my mom or my dad was toxic. I don't want shit to do with her because when I was 5 years old, she forced me to eat vegetables. You know, that is such toxic parenting to force me to eat something that I don't want to eat. You know, and that wasn't the only time I just hate it when she forced me to eat something, right? Or I hate it when he forced me to eat something, right? And then they want to cut you off for that because to them that's toxic. Is that really worth cutting somebody off? Just like you arguing with somebody, is that really worth cutting them off? You know, you got to realize that parenting was completely different when they were growing up. We cannot fault them for the shit that they were taught growing up, right? We cannot. Just like our children cannot fault us for holding on to some of our traditions, and they cannot fault us for changing some of our traditions. Right? That's what y'all have to realize when it comes to our parents. We cannot fault them for the things that they changed. We cannot fault them for the things that they tried to keep the same. Because at the end of the day, everything will always be their fault, and we will always look at them with resentment, right? Oh, we get mad at our parents because they decided to beat us, right? But then we also get mad at our parents because our parents loved us so much that they really didn't give us space because they wanted to always make sure that they were, available to talk to us, right? They kept one thing, but then they changed another, and yet you fault them for both. Make it make sense. Right? So, the spiritual community has to wake up and realize how toxic we truly are. Yes, like I said, I have toxic traits. I have no problems admitting that I have toxic traits. Like I said on Instagram yesterday, I am one of the kindest people that you will ever meet, but at the same time, I'm one of the biggest motherfucking assholes you will ever meet, right? I don't mind helping, I don't mind giving, I don't mind sharing knowledge, I don't mind doing none of that shit. But at the same time, if I feel like you playing with me and the people that I'm close to, I'm coming for your fucking neck, and there is no chill. There is no chill. At the end of the day, I'm still a product of my environment. You could take the girl out the hood, but you can't take the hood out the girl. Okay? I'm still where I came from, no matter how much I elevate. At the end of the day, I'm still my mom's child. No matter how much healing I've done, no matter how old I get, right? Me and my partner was literally just talking about that last night. I was like, it's funny how, you know, me and Unique, me and my sister growing up had, you know, a tough mother, and like some people would say we had a shitty mother, right? And it's funny how we both found a man who can truly love us, right? And you know, not a lot of people experience that, right? And he was like, yeah, because you know, children do tend to become the dominant parent that they had, right? And your mom being your only parent. I said, yep, I know. I said, physically, my sister is my mom's child. They look smack alike. But personality wise, I am my mom's fucking child, okay? Like, there is no getting around it. Do I treat my children the same way she treat me? No. But do I treat other people the same way? Yeah, my mom is just like me. She is one of the kindest people you will ever meet. But she don't take no shit, y'all. No shit. Right? So, at the end of the day, why would I cut my mom off for that? She taught me that. She taught me to be so open-minded and so, you know, nice and so open and loving and caring and stuff like that to the best of her abilities. My mom wasn't necessarily the loving person, but she definitely was open-minded. She definitely was caring. You know, she definitely was open to giving. She just didn't know how to love the way that I needed to be loved, right? And on top of that, she also don't give no fucks. So she didn't just take my bullshit because I was her child. You get what I'm saying? This is the stuff that y'all really gotta think about when y'all out here cutting people off. Y'all part of the problem too. We part of the problem, because I was once there. We are part of the problem too. And don't get me wrong, I'm pressed. I mean, I'm not pressed, but I'm all for, you know, taking my breaks and shit from people. It's different to take your breaks from people versus cutting people off. I'm all for taking breaks from people because people do too much. Sometimes you gotta sit back and reevaluate your boundaries, and you gotta reinforce boundaries, and you gotta reset up boundaries. But at the end of the day, the same people that you need to set boundaries for are the very people who taught you to set boundaries. If you really want to be technical, they're the ones who really taught you about boundaries and what boundaries you need to set up. So to a certain extent, you kind of should want them in your life because they teach you a lot. They teach you a whole lot. But anyways, that's it for today's rant. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the rest of y'all day.